Fundamental movement is, for me, the basic movements that everybody needs to, should know how to do just to go about their day to day. So, like, um, I remember I kind of modeled it after just watching a baby, right? Because if we talk about everything is about nature, right? Going back to nature. So then, what is in our nature? The best place to actually find that out is by just looking at children, looking at a baby, right? And a baby will literally show you what is necessary to be able to know how to do. Why? Because they're watching us. A baby realizes, okay, it needs to be able to get up, it needs to be able to hold its head up, it needs to be able to sit up, it needs to be able to crawl, it needs to be able to stand up, it needs to be able to walk, you know. And then once it's able to do those things, then it starts running, then it starts picking things up, then it starts throwing things, it starts jumping and climbing. And in my time as a trainer, I started to realize that a lot of the adults that I've been working with don't know how to do those things. They did just the real fundamentals of just being a human. People don't know how to do. And I was looking at, I've had clients that literally, if you told people to lay on their back and just sit up, I've had plenty of clients who could not do it, just sit up. I have a teenager now that I'm working with that struggles to sit up, and he's an athlete. Um, I have people that I've worked with that can't really go down on their knees and stand back up without having to grab anything and everything around them just to get off the ground. But yet you have people who just literally in their minds, the only reason you should go to a gym is to lose weight. And it shows me a fundamental disconnection that people have with their own health, with their own body. People don't even know what health is. Like, I'm pretty sure anybody watching this video, if I ask you right now, what is the definition of health? You couldn't tell me, because it's not something you've ever had to conceptualize. It's just something you've always heard said in reference to, oh, diabetes or somebody's overweight. But what is health actually? Most people don't know. Most people don't know what their bodies do and how they function. If you gave somebody a piece of food and they put it in their mouth, they really have no clue what happens to the food, other than it goes into my stomach, it digests, and my body takes the nutrients out, and then it comes out, and I poop it out. Most of us are fundamentally ignorant to ourselves, and it's because of that. That's why you start seeing, like, we can have a pandemic, and there's so much confusion going on because most people don't know about their bodies. And you know what's interesting enough? This so-called pandemic showed me that even people who are educated to know about the body don't know. Because they don't know what it's like. There were so many questions that I had, and I was very shocked that these people who work in the field of health didn't have at the same time. So it's like, for me, I wanted to figure out what I could do, because as a trainer, I didn't just want to. I'm not really very interested in working with people who just want to lose weight. For me, I want to figure out what health is, and I want to achieve it. So I want to work with people who ultimately want to achieve that thing as well. So when I came up with fundamental movement, it was just simply because I observed that people didn't know how to move, just didn't know how to do the real fundamentals, and I wanted to start working to teach them. But the thing about it is, a lot of people get bored very easily doing things repetitively, and perhaps maybe I can learn different ways to make it fun, but for the most part, that's not really where my mind is. My mind is really on just trying to get this person from point A to point B. But again, just to go back to the question, fundamental movement is just getting this person to be able to do the basic things that a child learned how to do. And speaking of children, this last piece, kids learn these things and they learn these movements when they play, and they use them when they play. But something happens when maybe you don't put a kid in sports. When you don't put a kid in sports, then their use of their body, or their functioning of their use of their body, or their knowledge or understanding of how to use their body ends right there. Because now all of a sudden they start to adopt the same habits that the rest of the culture, the rest of the adults have, And now all of a sudden they don't know how to do anything. They're sitting down most of the time watching TV, playing video games, and then everything here atrophies. They get stuck. Their fascia locks in position. So for me, I want to make sure that people are just doing the fundamentals, and it's just the bare minimum that we all should be at as a society before we can move forward. If people can't do the fundamentals but trying to do the advanced stuff that looks sexy, they're gonna hurt themselves.